What's good? What's good? What's good, family? It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions Den Broadcasting Community. Shout out to the Louisiana All American Sports Network. Shout out to M Vision Photography and Video, who did an excellent and amazing job with the footage at the 2025 Southern University Blue versus Gold game. If y'all didn't check out part 2 of the post-game reaction, please go check it out. And shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. Just letting y'all know up front, I'm going to be here for a good time, but not for a long time. In all actuality, this was supposed to be a video, but I was having issues with both phones for whatever reason. And as a result, I made it a live stream. Today has been hectic for me because earlier this week, a student that was in my class a few years ago was tragically deleted. And unfortunately, today, like one of my people, a family member of my family members, he passed also. So, it's been a hectic day and, had a lot going on tonight. So that's the reason why this live stream is so late. Major shout out to the brother C. Wells. We had an excellent conversation on Swag Talk. I appreciate everybody that came through on Swag Talk, like Teacher Man, Desmond Allen, always, constantly showing support. Major shout out to Desmond Allen. Shout out to Adrian Crook. And, just looking at some of the comments, Teacher Man, he was saying that basically, keep up the Jaguar content, keep the good Jaguar content coming. Great show from Desmond Allen. Adrian Crook was like, they don't know what they're going to look like this season. I guess he's talking about Jackson State. And he said, basically, Kendrick Grimes don't mind him any of those running backs that I named. More like Victor Ike. And truthfully speaking, Victor Ike was a good running back at Southern, in my opinion, also. And the only difference between Steve Warford and Victor Ike was the fact that they played in different eras, and Steve Warford had 3 years of eligibility when Victor Ike transferred to Southern for his senior year. But truthfully speaking, I'm not even going to lie to keep it a buck. I think if you switch time frames, I think Victor Ike would have been better served because I remember this guy, his name Keidron Davis. He played at Baker High, real good player. Ended up getting a scholarship to Southern. When my parents and his parents used to tailgate, we used to park right next to each other. And, he told me, he had a scholarship on the team at Southern at the time. And basically he was saying that like the team really wasn't in favor of Victor Ike because Victor Ike, was a back that avoided contact all the time. He didn't want to get hit. And I'm like, hell, Steve Warford didn't want to get hit. Like he used to slip down, trip down, run out of bounds, fall on. Steve Warford didn't want to get hit either. And that's the reason why I don't hold Steve Warford is in high esteem as other Southern University running backs, even smaller backs like Ryan Lewis. Ryan Lewis was much smaller than Steve Warford, and he didn't shy away from contact the way Steve Warford did. And Gerald Holmes was a lot smaller than Steve Warford also, and he didn't shy away from contact as much as Steve Warford. So that's why I don't hold Steve Warford in his high regard as many other people. And truthfully speaking, I think if Victor Ike played in Steve Warford's time and Steve Warford played in Victor Ike time, I don't think Steve Warford will be viewed as favorably as many people view him. But that's my personal opinion. Major shout out to to Joseph David. He said, "What up, coach?" He said, "Please tell me Jags do not have more defections." No, actually, truthfully speaking, the Chat GPT came up with this title for me. It's a kind of a clickbaitish title, but I'm just kind of been addressing, something people have been asking me. I'm gonna get into the video in a little bit, because even like looking at my last previous video and just talking to people in general, like truthfully speaking, I really kind of want to base my channel around like my knowledge of Southern University football, my history. Once I pivoted the channel from boxing, I still talk about boxing, but not as often. It's more Southern University than boxing. But once I pivoted the channel, like I didn't want it just to be about like interviews, even though I got some interviews lined up for like, leading up to Swag Media Day 2025. I had some like interviews supposedly lined up, if everything comes off the way I want it. So I got some interviews lined up with, a few former Southern University players. But I didn't want to base my channel around it. I wanted to kind of base it more around the knowledge I have of Southern University football. And more than anything, in my previous video, somebody in the chat, CEO Job 1602, yes, what's going on in this program that you're hiding? We're hearing that players are not happy. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it a buck. First and foremost, like, I'm a diehard Southern University Jaguar. My mom graduated from Southern. I graduated from Southern. My sister graduated from Southern. I got a couple aunts, couple first cousins that graduated from Southern like myself. Like one of my co-hosts on Bayou Sports Talk, King Ray, a Ray Swing 225 here on YouTube. He graduated from Southern University also. So, like Southern University, in our actuality, is like an actual family member. So even if somebody came through and offered me a bag to say, "Hey, coach, if you know some incriminating or some bad details about Southern University, let us know." I don't care how much money you offer me. I wouldn't be down for it. I wouldn't be willing to do it. So I'm not willing to do it, even if I did know. But truthfully speaking, I don't have any inside intel or inside information. I don't talk to Coach Graves. I don't talk to Henry Miller or Mark Frederick or anybody like that. I don't personally know anyone on the staff. Now, I don't get it twisted. I'm not saying I'm never gonna interview like Coach Graves or interview Henry Miller or Mark Frederick or anybody that's on the staff. I'm just saying like I don't have that type of intel or information to say, "Hey, something is going on behind the scenes." And truthfully speaking, even if I did know, more than likely I probably wouldn't say anything that would, in my personal opinion, paint Southern University in a negative light. But in terms of the defections, I mean, I don't think there's nothing wrong with players entering the transfer portal because, truthfully speaking, it's not just an issue at Southern. It's an issue at all the schools in the SWAC where you got players that could legitimately be starting and they just enter the transfer portal for no reason. So at the end of the day, like, don't make it seem like, hey, this is an issue just affecting Southern. Players are not happy. If they weren't happy, I really wouldn't know. Like I said, I bumped into Kendrick Grimes and we talked for like 30 seconds. He recognized me. We spoke, we exchanged phone numbers, but like I don't have no inside information in terms of me talking to like specific players that have no intel in that regard. And like I said, even if I did know, I wouldn't say anything anyway, and I definitely wouldn't want to do anything that would paint Southern University from an athletic standpoint in a negative light. And he was saying, Joseph Date, I was expecting to hear about guys being signed out of the portal to fill gaps. And, from talking to C. Wells behind the scenes, from what he understands, like they got players that are supposedly coming, that's kind of coming to Southern, but the coaches that he talked to behind the scenes, he said, he has he cool with Mark Frederick, whoever. Like the coach is not saying, "Hey, this player is the player that we have. This player coming, whoop de whoop de woo." That particular individual not saying. So they do have players coming, but I guess it's kind of, they're really not saying anything yet, and there's not any real information out there in terms of. But from what I understand, they got a couple running backs coming. Supposedly they got another quarterback, whatever, wide receiver, whatever. So everything Joseph David is saying, I think they got players that's really coming. He said, "Why is Darren Morris in the thumbnail?" Well, first and foremost, I'm not gonna lie, Darren Morris, I felt like, truthfully speaking, he had a pretty good blue versus gold spring game, and I saw his picture on social media, and I'm not gonna lie, I think really outside of Jalen Woods and outside of Jamari Jones, I felt like he was the player that really stood out to me the most on the 2025 blue versus gold spring game. So I really felt like it was fitting that he was the thumbnail. And I made the shout out to Darren Morris. I mean, I think he really kind of next in line behind, now that Chandler Whitfield is no longer there. I think he really kind of a go-to wide receiver in Southern University's wide receiving core. And I hope he has like a real good season this year. Hopefully he can do big things. Major shout out to Darren Morris. He said, "Man, sorry to hear that. My sincere condolences." Man, I appreciate it. Like I said, my family member passed, and it's gonna kind of be crazy not seeing him this coming, Thanksgiving when we go to their house for Thanksgiving. But keep my people in your thoughts and prayers. From what I'm understanding, I think service is supposed to be probably next weekend or whatever. We'll see how things play out. He was saying that Victor Ike had hamstring muscle strain issues due to one amazing play in the body. And the crazy thing about it was they had benched him, like I said earlier, like the whole issue with the Keydron Davis, what Keydron Davis had told me, like behind the scenes back in the gap, that basically, I guess the teammates thought he avoided contact too much. He was too soft, whatever. And they benched him, and then he ended up like getting hurt like severely in the Bayou Classic that year. And to me, I think it was unfortunate because, truthfully speaking, as much as they used to say Steve Wolf was an NFL prospect, I felt like Victor Ike was an NFL prospect too. I mean, before he came to Southern in a Big 12 championship game, he had a long touchdown run for the University of Texas. So, I felt like Victor Ike I felt like he was a decent running back. The whole, hey, he didn't want to get hit thing that Keydron and a couple other teammates told me at the time. Truthfully speaking, I felt like he didn't avoid contact no more than Steve Wolford to me. So I didn't see what the big deal was, and he was saying team just played the spring game. Why would there be a major discontentment on the team? No, I'm not saying that, bro, to keep it a buck. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying the person in the comment section from the previous video, and then not only that, a couple people asking me like, basically, like, why do Southern University, why there are so many players entering the transfer portal? I don't buy it either. And I'm in multiple Facebook groups. I'm in Rough in the Swag with Avis Heat. Shout out to Avis Heat. He a J-State guy. But I think more than anything, I think it's kind of much to do about nothing, me truthfully speaking. And like I said, I didn't manufacture the title myself. ChatGPT did, and it's, to me, truthfully speaking, I think it's kind of a clickbaity type title, But I mean, it is what it is. It's a clickbait title. Me personally, I mean, you right, Joseph David. I mean, the spring game, to keep it a buck, if the offense looks this good during a regular season, that as good as they look during the spring game, if they play that well during the season, and the defense has been what they've been the last few years, man, Southern gonna be a problem in the SWAC. And I'm talking before teams on either side of the SWAC. So I think the only major issue that Southern really need to square away is the special teams. They didn't have special teams in the blue versus gold spring game for a reason, and that's kind of alarming to me. Hopefully Coach Graves and staff could fill in those holes from a special team standpoint. And salute to the family. KC, say what up, Coach, in here. man, I appreciate you. And he was saying, hey, man, and at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lie, the title is clickbait. Like I say, AI generated it for me. But at the end of the day, I think, people read too much into the whole blue prior to or even after, Blue versus Gold Spring game. More so prior to than after. All these players hitting the portal. At the end of the day, to me, it's college football in 2025. This, like I say, it's not 2015. You got a whole new wave of doing things with the transfer portal and NIL. So, like, you really can't read too much into it. At the end of the day, I kind of feel like this is the landscape of college football. Jackson State lost players in the portal, and truthfully speaking, I don't make a big deal about that. Not just Jackson State or Grambling or all teams all across the SWAC, really teams all across college football. So at the end of the day, I mean, sometimes players, they just want enter the transfer portal to see if, they got an NIL bag out there waiting for them. And in addition to that, but just to see, NIL bag, or just to see, who going to court them, or, is the grass green on the other side? So in many instances, people really don't enter the transfer portal, just because they're not playing or they're unhappy. Sometimes it's just for no real rhyme or reason. And that was the point I was making in the previous video. Like, you really can't read too much into, players jumping into the portal. He was saying, Joseph Davis was saying, they just played in the SWAC championship game. Yeah, and I mean, not only did they play in the SWAC championship game, but the thing that really was the issue all this past season, to me, it really kind of seems like it's not going to be an issue this coming season. I mean, I can't guarantee that they're going to play. The offense going to be as good during the regular season as it was in the spring game. But if the last couple of years are any indication, hey, the defense should be, more than rock solid, going to be real good. And the offense going to be real good. Like I say, to me, the only thing that really would hinder them is if they can't rectify everything from a special team standpoint. But overall, I think, the comments in the comment section of the previous video, and people just asking like, hey, like, why are so many Southern University players entering the transfer portal? Truthfully speaking, I think it's kind of much to do about nothing. But that's it for this live stream. I really didn't even intend on being here as long as I've been on here. But major shout out to KC. Appreciate you dropping through. Joseph David, showing major love. My brother Jared 11 Green. Perfect comment. Salute, bro. And like he said, smash the like button. I am less than 300 subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers. So please, if you have not done so, subscribe to the channel, like, share. He says, switching gears. Did you hear Trey Lane got drafted in the 7th round of the CFL? Oh, hey, I'm glad you brought that up. My brother Jay Good sent me that. And, a couple people was like, the whole Trey Lane controversy. Well, no controversy. I just was saying, I think it would have been in his best interest if he would have stayed at Southern. That's just my personal opinion. And, truthfully speaking, Joseph David, that's going to come up in my next video or live stream either way. Salute Adrian Crook. I talked about you earlier in terms of the whole Victor Ike thing. I think Victor Ike was better than people thought Victor Ike was. Because to me, if, them talking about, players I was cool with at the time, like I said, like Keegan Davis saying that Victor Ike didn't like to get hit. To me, Steve Walker didn't like to get hit either. But, I mean, it is what it is. And salute to my brother Big Joe Towns for standing on LDBC business. But I'm finna shut it down. Please, if you have not done so already, like the live stream, like, comment, share. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe. I'm less than 300 subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers, so please subscribe to the channel. Also, go check out my brother Jared 11 Green on his channel, Southern Baller Show. We had a real interesting show this past Sunday. Real good show. If you have not done so already, please Check it out. My brother Jared 11 Green, go check out his channel. Also, my brother Brent Fox on his channel with his show Is Just Me starring Brent Fox. Our LDB sister, the beloved Queen Shawala Yah, go check out her channel. She did an excellent job breaking down these upcoming fights for this weekend. Go check her out and go check out my brother 7A Sports TV, the leader of this phenomenal organization. He has 2 channels. His primary channel is 7A Sports TV. His backup channel is the No 304 Show. Please go check out my LDBC family members. Johnny Thornton said, who does not like to get hit? Oh, I was Adrian Crook had put a comment in C Wells, this Swag Talk comment from yesterday's live stream, and he was saying that Kendrick Grimes is more like Victor Ike, and I'm like, Victor Ike was a good running back at the time when I was going to Southern. Like, I was cool with Keidron Davis. Like, my parents and his parents used to tailgate right next to each other, and he was saying that a lot of his teammates say that they didn't want Victor Ike to be the starting running back. P. Richardson ended up benching him because they felt like he didn't like to get hit. And I'm like, okay, well, nobody say Steve Wolford didn't like to get hit either. So, Adrian Crook made a comparison between Victor Ike and Kendrick Grimes. I felt like Victor Ike was a good back too at Southern if he'd have got more touches, Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Victor Ike was good. I feel like Victor Ike was a good back. But I'm just saying, I didn't say Adrian Crook said that Victor Ike didn't like to get hit. I was saying the guys I was cool with, like Keidron Davis, that I was going to school with at Southern, said Victor Ike didn't like to get hit. That was part of the reason why they felt like the team kind of turned against him. P. Richardson ended up benching him. And then at the end of the season, when he played in the Bayou Class, he ended up getting hurt. And that kind of was like the end of his football career, But that's it for this live stream. And tomorrow, in tomorrow's video, hopefully video or live stream, I'm going to talk about the aforementioned Trey Lang, how he ended up going to the CFL. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about how only one player from the HBCU realm, which is Alabama A&M, only ended up getting drafted in the NFL draft. A bunch of them got free agent contracts, but, only one got drafted. And we're going to talk about a couple other little Southern University topics that come to mind. More than likely this weekend, I might do another Southern University top 10. I'm going to see which top 10 I'm going to do. But I'm going to catch y'all on the rebound. Y'all have a blessed, phenomenal night. Catch y'all on the rebound. Peace and blessings.